Hey, it's the Low Life Podcast.
Do you know anything about that? You jam to songs of cowboys and cyberspace? Ever read Neuromancer? Ever experienced the new wave? Next wave? Dream wave? Or cyberpunk? I didn't think so. In the it's a world where you can truly say, I'm going to like world where curiosity and imagination.
I'd buy that for $1. Hack the planet! Hack the planet! Hack the planet! Hack the planet! Shut up and get in the car.
Go away, Baton.
Yep, it's the Low Life Podcast. Welcome, friends and enemies who are just stalking us for some fucking reason. I'm Coin Ops McGillicuddy. My back hurts. I feel like shit. Here with Shadowlink.
Hey, I was right. This year sucks so far. Hey, hooray.
Scum.
I mean, if you're an enemy listening to this, like, give me money.
Right. I mean, okay. And Zero.
What better way to make us shut up than to give us money for once?
Right.
So happy you found us again, brave listeners. Same bad stream, same bad team.
Mm-hmm. We're doing our best.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
We're like little brother from fucking Strong Bad, you know? We got the heart of a champion.
God, my notes just suck. It's gonna be bad.
This is going to be a really painful episode. This is going to be a painful episode.
Yeah, we'll get to it all. It's Well, here's the thing. This might be 2 episodes, so you know we're gonna just put that there up at the top to warn you ahead of time. This is ClusterFest 2024 Part 1. And,
As I said before, my notes just kind of devolve into rage fantasies of sketches of guillotines and baskets. So
I hallucinated my notes.
Now, was this like an AI style hallucination? Is that
No. This was literally like
when humans do that, it's just a lie.
disassociating and staring off into the middle distance for hours at a time. It was not good. I had like a fireplace YouTube video on for like 4 hours. I just went shaking my head left and right over and over again. We're going to get to it. First off, what we want to do is we want to say, hey, thanks to the patrons.
Yes, thank you for
increased givens and new patrons. Thank you so much.
Yay!
You guys are
thank
awesome.
you guys.
It was incredible to see.
This is good news.
Always happy when we misappropriate some new funds. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now after we've Neon Dystopia, what was it? No, my brain. Patreon.com/Neon Dystopia.
Yeah.
Because we've hyped it how good this episode's going to be by telling you how bad it is.
Yeah.
And again,
So,
please
give us money.
Right.
check out the Patreon. As it stands now, we are still giving out our product free of charge.
Mm-hmm.
However, we don't want to have to bow the knee to horrible sponsors. Once again, we have an offer on the table. Let me see the list here. eCleanse suite of election management tools from Facebook Meta. eCleanse leverages social engineering AI for election management, population control, sort followers by engagement, race, gender, ethnicity, political affiliation, address, and favorite colors too.
Oh, gee. Oh, that sounds great.
That sounds like
a great
every
sponsor.
quiz on Facebook.
eCleanse, essential to any stamp out the vote grassroots campaign.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
we're not going to take that money, I don't think.
Yeah.
You know,
Ugh.
that's a really good pivot. let's just get this started. Okay,
Yeah, it's a big year for elections, right?
yeah, we all sat around. We decided we're going to pick a topic because we wanted to do a catch up on the news. We haven't done the news in a while. We're trying to start things off light with some joy, talking about the Internet Archive. We had a bunch of movie reviews at the end of last year. With the finale being the wonderful Until the End of the World. And then this is the episode where we
obviously a lot of shit was happening while we were doing this,
right? And we knew. We were paying attention, but we were just like exhausted. It was a rough year for everyone, and just a lot of just moves, loss, gains. Just responsibilities. All kinds of things happened, and now we're going to talk about how this year's starting. So I dipshit that I am picked election. Just like how that's looking, and I watched a couple debates. I watched coverage from.
Tell me, how's the PFAB?
I'm so sorry. How's the
PFAB looking this year?
What was that, Zero?
How's the PFAB looking?
We'll get there. And
I am so sorry for the brain cells that you lost.
It's funny because I remember it was a few years ago that I did this to myself with fucking January 6th footage, and it's just like, but it was worse this time because I just couldn't take any notes because I'm watching this stuff and we've been there before. Like we've been through all of this stuff. Like basically it was kind of fun to watch the one Republican primary anytime like Chris Christie shows up because he's a piece of shit, but God, it's fun to watch him just know he's not going to win and just take shots at these people.
I know. That's the only reason he came. That's the only reason he was there.
I know he has like no illusions about running. He's just like, they'll let me up here. Fuck this guy. And I'm like, that's the most relatable you are, sir. But the rest of it was just, here's where we're at. We don't know. I don't have anything to say. None of this stuff means anything because at best it's like we know what Trump's doing. He's said it out loud that he is going to enact retribution upon his enemies upon gaining office. We know that Biden is going to, for better or worse, keep the status quo going. What's the big surprise? Nikki Haley, is she a spoiler? Only way that happens is if Trump gets taken out from his 91 indictments, of which he just lost one recently, right before we recorded this E. Jean Carroll defamation civil suit. He got beaned for like $83.5 million or something like that.
84,
Yeah. And he's already used $55 million of his fundraising money from the last year for legal fees. So, like, he ain't doing great, man.
Is that what you weren't used to supposed to be able to do?
I'm like...
but, they let you do it if you're the president.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like Nixon said.
Oh, yeah. All right.
It's bad, right? So, I think the most important thing, though, is what's been making...
Coin-ups. What you have to realize is that he needed to move those funds for his legal counsel so he could continue running.
Right.
So therefore, it's justified, right? That's legal.
Anyway.
Oh, God.
But here's the most important detail. This is the big thing. I didn't realize this, and I'm really glad I watched news from all sides. The right, I think they figured it out.
Yeah?
Taylor Swift is a spoiler. She's obviously a CIA psyop.
Yeah,
she's clearly the spoiler in all of this because she's dating the football player from the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right. Oh man. Oh,
yeah.
God,
and that's why they rigged the season so that they could win, not because they've been like in the Super Bowl 4 out of the 5 last times. They're like a really for what it is, it's a good team. And
they were going to the Super Bowl anyway. It's ridiculous. It's patently ridiculous.
And so but here's what happened. Like the CIA, they got Taylor Swift to get all these people to like follow up behind her. I've said this before. You got to rally the Swifties against the Trump heads.
Yeah.
Because they believe this shit. They believe that like this whole thing is just engineered. And then, when he wins the Super Bowl in a week and a half or whatever, or a week, whenever this comes out, I don't fucking know. She's going to kiss him on the field. And then she's going to announce like her support for Biden. Like this is what we're up against. What?
No.
And it's not like Biden's like a better choice.
It's like not even the plot of a bad movie.
He's shitty,
or a bad
but he's
novel.
not like,
it's not even.
He's not as petty. He's more of a company guy. Like a company guy I can kind of fucking work around.
And we'll get to his shit with my segment.
Yeah, we will. But
this is bleak. This is a fucking bleak election. This is the most bleak election. This is the bleakest year I think I've ever seen, quite honestly.
Well, it's funny. There was a let me see here. What was it? It was like, say the line. You know.
I do like you brought up football and equating it to like elections.
Oh no! It's there's this account I follow called Socialist Soprano Memes, and the one's like, "Hey Tone, did you know this is going to be the most important election of our lifetime?" And Tony's like, "I can't have this conversation again."
Yeah,
it's like
it's not
literally. It's either keep things as shitty as they are, or let's just devolve into fascism. That's basically that's our choice.
That's it.
Well, I mean, all right. So here are my thoughts on this year's election. Okay, at this point, okay, on the last day of what is this, January 58th, and it's get your passport, and also get to know your neighbors for better or worse, and like start setting up some community shit.
Yep.
Start getting familiar.
I mean,
people.
I don't want to sound alarmist, and I don't want to just.
Oh, I'm not. If I was going to sound alarmist, I'd be like, "Get guns!" No, I'm telling you, just chill the fuck out, learn around, like see who's got what, how you're going to be able to get things moved.
I don't want to sound alarmist. I don't want to parody a Democratic line either. But at the same time, the first thing I thought was, vote. It might be your last chance for a while.
Yeah.
Depending on how these fascist takeovers go.
Yeah, there's a non-zero chance that Trump will get the ticket. And
well, I mean, here's why. Here's the thing. Here's the big fucking problem. All right, was the fact that Iowa, they called it in 30 minutes,
which is wild.
Well, the thing is like, clearly, these people showed up in the middle of a fucking snowstorm, and there were like 80,000 less people that showed up to vote, or whatever the difference was, or something like that. But like the point is, what we've kind of been vibing on for a long time, because like there was talk of like a Trump faction, or like there's like the Trump wing of the Republican Party, and it's just like, no, it's the Trump Party. He's absorbed it, like whether they want to or not. The last reasonable Republicans have left the building. They haven't been around. I don't even know what they look like.
Yeah.
We're at this point now where this guy is getting up in front of like thousands of people at these rallies.
Yeah.
Talking about how he's going to get revenge. He's going to take revenge. He's going to punish his enemies.
Of blood. And by the way, the purity of our blood, you're talking about fucking Americans. We have so many we are riddled with microplastics, you dipshit.
Your last name wasn't even Trump.
Yeah,
that's when he's being coherent. That's when he's not just spouting his Trump jazz about bing, bing, bang, Iron Dome on the southern border to launch missiles at migrants. Like, what are you even talking about?
Right.
It's hash.
Aren't they like kind of backpedaling on that now? Because they're actually, because that fucking ghoul that's in every single airport on the biggest fucking screen that they have. What is his name? It's like.
Oh, yeah, you posted something in our chat about that.
Department of Homeland Security Secretary.
Of course. Because it wasn't their appointee.
Yeah. So they are actually making more arrests for illegal crossings at the border than the Trump administration ever did.
This was true under Obama.
It's so fucking
it's this. It doesn't matter. Basically, I don't want to get into like the whole migrant thing.
He's too effective.
Yeah, like I don't want to get into, because we're also kind of going through, like, people think it's going to be a civil war. It's fucking not. Although I do believe the Second American Civil War will be started for something just as stupid.
Oh yeah.
It's just something going on right now about like Texas basically ignoring the federal government about like barbed wire.
Yeah. Of course.
And not either side not thinking about how inhumane they treat like starving, hungry migrants trying to come across the border so they could like not die in their own country.
Well, yeah, and that's like where this, like in the election, who do you vote for? Because they're both talking about.
Yeah, they're both. Both of them. I guarantee in our lifetime they're just going to like start shooting people who try to cross the border.
Well, they've already done that.
Yeah, they're gonna be real happy about it, because basically a lot of states
of yahoos that are driving down there now. I don't know what they're calling this convoy.
I don't know.
That's going to be dangerous.
Yeah,
fuck them. I don't want to talk about them. But like, they're.
I ran into a bunch of them at like I was driving home one time at a gas station, and it was just like the whole thing with people with the big white cowboy hats that are all bedazzled and shit. I think I mentioned this on one of the episodes, and it was just like, God, I man, at a rave on like 4 tabs of acid, I've never been that disconnected from reality. I've always been like able to say to myself, I am under the influence of a chemical that possibly might be limiting the amount of sugar that's coursing through my brain, causing me to blah blah blah. I've always been able to think my way out of it. That's terrifying to me.
Yep.
And you're not up against reasonable folks who want to like have an argument. They have their beliefs, and this is the thing. Some people, they're just.
I mean, this is fucking ridiculous to me. It's like, did the Democrats even start their fucking primaries already?
Yeah.
Did they?
They did. They had a write-in. They had the guy that got a decent chunk of the vote. I can't remember his name. I don't know who the fuck this guy is.
He doesn't matter, actually.
Yeah, because he doesn't matter. Biden actually won just in write-in votes.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, like why wasn't he on the ballot? I don't care. It's like one of those things. I don't like this it's wankery. This is actually a thing you actually didn't have to do.
But the Republicans, like, there's just so much fucking pomp and circumstance around the fucking election every 4 years, and it's just like they make such a gigantic goddamn deal about it. Just like get the fuck out of the spotlight.
It's the lamest World Cup ever.
It really is.
Yeah,
what was it that didn't?
And like we all know what's going to happen anyways.
Ministry have a shit Olympics, isn't that in one of the?
Yeah.
It's all. That's all this is. It's just basically like all of this, all the graphics and the noise of it. All these giant rooms rented out with like sequenced lights.
Disgusting. Yeah.
They're just. It's just money that you gave them that they're pissing back in your face. Like they're pissing it in your face with this just pageantry.
Yeah, they don't care about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about any other.
But that's the way things have to go. Well, that's why we still don't have good water in Flint, Michigan.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. I was thinking about our whole podcast in general, like in a 10,000 foot view. And I was like, we're balls deep in cyber.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of punk. Not us. I mean, just in general, like everything is fucking your phone. Everything. It's like ads are being served up and all this other shit. Like we're connected. That thing happened. We're there. Yeah. But like, how do you think outside of it? Is it completely leaving it? That's not going to work because the world still exists. It's like Philip K. Dick had a great line. The reality is what remains after you stop believing in it.
Yeah.
And, you cannot believe in, I don't know, a nuke. And then you could like live near the nation's capital and be like, no, that's a real thing. This is a place where they might show up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't like any of it. We don't know anything. We don't know how this is going to go.
The good side of that coin with the connectivity, I mean, like what you're saying is absolutely true. But the good side of the connectivity that I'm seeing, especially like recently, is exactly, and this could be like a little bit of a subject, is what we're going to talk about next, is what's going on with Gaza. It's like the fact that we're doing the same kind of shit that we've always been doing over and over again. Yeah. But because of as a country, but because of our connectivity, the populace is saying like, hang on a minute, like it's happening instantly with verifications in our hands.
Yep.
And it's not, the old playbooks are not working as far as like snow job this in the media and set this story here. And
I remember.
Until we get the results.
Maybe that's a fortunate thing about our maybe that's the one silver lining about everybody in Congress being fucking geriatric.
Precisely.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up though, because that is, we'll get to it more when we switch over to me, but like I'm glad you brought that up because that is a positive to this. Is with our connectivity, we get to see what's going on in real time, what's happening, and the vast majority of the world is saying no.
Yeah, fuck that.
And because if any other era, we would have no idea the extent.
I guess, like, to get more back on topic with this, the thing that I think we need to worry the most about isn't who's necessarily going to win the election. It's
how
we already don't have media literacy, and now people are throwing AI shit up.
Oh God, yeah.
And every publishing motherfucker in the world, like, is absolutely leaning into this stuff because they absolutely hate writers.
Well, fucking disgusting. I wanted to be like these publishers, like this was my, like, I idolize old timey like editors and publishers. And it's like, now you look at them now, like whoever's in fucking charge, and it's like, we just want to take the writer out of the equation. Yeah. And it makes me want to puke.
It's like, oh, hey, I have an automobile, but I need to take the gear shift out completely. The entire The whole gearbox has to go.
It offends me.
Yeah. We'll keep all the other shit. We'll keep the print and press and everything else. But like these meat bags that need like insurance and like want to raise a family.
Yeah, fuck these people. Anyways, no, it's just like
here's how dumb they are. They think this Chat GPT shit is good enough.
We will get to it. We'll get to it. Okay, I got
this. Everything we're talking about today is interconnected because that's exactly what the people at Davos were talking about. That I'm going to get into about.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up also, like, you know, we're seeing more voter suppression shit happening, like people trying to change the laws and shit because, you know, historically voter fraud isn't a thing. Voter suppression is.
Absolutely.
Because you got fucking dickheads who decide to show up armed at a polling station in a black neighborhood.
I mean, we've talked about this, like, I think we touched it a few times in like my Gangs in New York episode.
Yeah.
That's very American.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's very entire nation's history.
If you know that you're not going to win, just like through charisma, then it's like this is your solution. I'm going to do anything that I can just to win.
I will die.
Like fucking,
you know what I mean? Like I will die for my beliefs. You know, like my beliefs are PP go in this bathroom, not PP go in that bathroom. Guns, click clack. You know what the fuck? You know, I think that's what it is that, you know,
like it's
things
these
got
dipshits
easier.
that make
things post-war America, things got fucking really easy for a while.
Yeah. Sorry, wait, which war? Can we be more specific? I'm trying to track one.
The big one that we apparently won.
Yeah.
And single-handedly, based on
apparently
100 years of cinema.
The war on drugs.
Yeah. Said war we won. It was the last one we won.
Sorry, disambiguation, sir.
I can't. I don't know, man. It had to do with like Germany and Italy and Japan being friends for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. And then Godzilla, I don't know what happened. It was weird.
The Soviets were there. Are we talking about Soviet Godzilla?
I mean, getting back to the media issue, like this fact that we have this interconnectivity, the fact that we don't have the media literacy that we need, and it is hard. Well, you know, and it's a thing that I try to get better at, and I still fuck up. And I've been looking at this shit for so long.
Fucking worse and harder seems like every fucking year because, you know.
Oh God, somebody was saying if
more and more misinformation is just being fucking thrown out there.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast and they mentioned it. They were using Google image search and it just kept throwing up AI art.
Oh yeah, I keep noticing that too. Actually,
I mean Google. Look, we've been saying this for a while that Google is dog shit.
It's bad.
Yeah, like,
come on.
Yeah,
it's real bad, man.
Yeah, and like now that Google has an AI that is going to read all your personal messages, like, it's probably time to jump fucking ship.
I mean, you could have my dick pics. I don't care, but
like, go ahead, have fun. But
I understand. It is something you should be people's privacy. Like you should be concerned about your own privacy. But
I mean, but it's also like a fucking dick. It's like if you decided to live somewhere and then like 5 years after living there, your landlord says, "Hey, I'm gonna just walk into your apartment and check things out, make sure that you're not doing anything bad, every once in a while." Like, what? No, fuck no.
Define bad.
Yeah,
well, I mean, exactly.
He walks in and finds the ball gags.
There was someone sent me a screen cap of this tweet from at the Cartel Dell, and it goes, "You know what I realized about AI images and your marketing? It sends out the message that you've got no budget. It's the digital equivalent of wearing an obviously fake Chanel bag. Your whole brand immediately appears feeble and impoverished."
Okay, I agree.
I want to advance that idea.
I agree with the first part. I disagree with the second because I know a lot of writers notoriously unmoneyed people.
Fine,
using AI for their book covers because shit's
but
expensive.
When Tor did it,
when Tor does it, that's upsetting.
That's what I'm saying.
Pathetic.
Yeah. Come on, what the fuck?
Come on, Tor, be better.
You really can't shell out for a fucking artist.
Well, that's the thing, though. That's the thing.
Can.
because we're seeing it. Like, didn't Sports Illustrated just fire a shit ton of fucking writers because they're just going to go straight up with like AI?
Oh my god!
They also,
who reads an article anyway? Who gives
another
a shit?
magazine brand?
Yeah, and they're
basically admitting that like
issue is going to be populated entirely. Sorry,
that's what I'm saying. They're going to make AI to do everything now. The swimsuit models, the writing.
Guys, we're going to get into it. Okay, like
all right. Well, it all ties together.
It's what I'm saying.
So let's move on.
Every story tonight.
Scum's going to ruin everything for us now.
Yeah, get your laughs out now, because it literally just says, I don't know why I wrote this, it just says on the top of my notes with like an arrow pointing down, never a good death. So
every couple of minutes, what I'll do is I'll interject and I'll try to say something positive, just for a cleanse. Okay.
Yeah. Because my,
I too have some jibes, perhaps.
Good.
I'm not talking jibes. I'm talking like beautiful sunset shit. Like, yeah, I'm not trying to make a joke. I'm just trying to be like, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's good because like doing this, the pages and notes I'm going to get into definitely made me reflect on like, deaths in my own family, my, past wanting to get into the death industry and how, I don't know. Point is,
you're going to be
Israel, Palestine.
Oh. Yeah.
God. Oh boy.
I'm going to start it off with a question. What is ethnic cleansing?
Wow.
God.
Well, you see, here's the thing. I'm hearing a lot of people dropping, like a hard G for this, but I think it's a little more of an EC sitch myself.
We're gonna get.
What's the fucking difference?
Well, we're gonna get.
It's very prosecutable in different ways after it's done. Is the thing.
So on the UN website, the UN website definition, ethnic cleansing has not been recognized as an independent crime under international law. The term first came about in the 90s from the conflicts in the former Yugoslavia, from a literal translation of the Serbo-Croatian term etniko-krishnej.
Wow.
There is no precise definition of ethnic cleansing, but a UN definition from a report about crimes connected to the former Yugoslavia is, quote, rendering an area ethnically homogeneous by using force or intimidation to remove persons of given groups from the area, end quote. And from the same report, quote, a purposeful policy designed by one ethnic or religious group to remove by violent and terror-inspiring means the civilian population of another ethnic group from certain geographic areas, end quote.
That still sounds super fucking illegal.
The means to do this are classified as murder, torture, arbitrary arrest and detention, extrajudicial executions, rape and sexual assault, severe physical injury to civilians, confinement of civilian populations in ghetto areas, forcible removal, displacement, and deportation of civilian populations.
Bingo.
Deliberate military attacks or threats of attack on civilians and civilian areas, use of civilians as human shields, destruction of property, robbery of personal property, attack on hospitals, medical personnel, and locations with the Red Cross, Red Crescent emblem, among others.
I feel like I've heard news about literally all those things that you just mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, you hit bingo after 8.
Yeah,
these can be assimilated to. These could be like sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. These acts are considered, quote, crimes against humanity and can be assimilated to specific war crimes. Furthermore, such acts could also fall within the meaning of the Genocide Convention, end quote. So the reason a lot of news outlets call it ethnic cleansing is, and I've even seen like a lot of really good news sources like Al Jazeera, like a lot of this is like not American news. These notes came from Google translates the one good thing. You have no excuse. Anyway. The reason is a lot of news organizations use ethnic cleansing because it has no legal thing. There's no legal anything attached to it. If you say something is a straight up genocide, you are accusing someone of doing a crime. Basically, you're accusing a nation of doing a crime.
That's really fucking stupid because.
So I'm going to call it genocide this entire time.
That's
ethnic cleansing is more of a gray area for this.
One at a time.
Zero, go ahead.
Or somebody.
No one wants to go next.
Ethnic cleansing is more of a gray area, and it's really more like what's been going on in the West Bank for like years now. Not
with the settlers.
Yeah.
That's a really just that's dumb though, because it's like literally the way that you described it, literally the ethnic cleansing, every single one of those things was atrocious. Yeah. Oh my God!
How many do you need to do for it to like?
Christ! Oh my God!
For it to count? You know what I mean? Like, what rules of war?
First of all, level up. What's the level?
I mean, if we're talking about count, from Oxfam International, the Israeli military is killing 250 Palestinians a day, with many more lives at risk due to weather, famine, and disease. And at the end of these notes, famine is almost 100% assured.
Oh no! Also, disease. Also,
yes. All those things are happening.
They've killed over like 1% of the population.
There's only I think I could be wrong about this, so don't quote me, but I think it's like 2.2 million people live in the Gaza Strip, because there's not a lot of land. If you look at our big dumb country in America, the Gaza Strip is not big.
Oh yeah, it's not a tiny by comparison.
Yeah, that's not a lot of people, and I think the current death toll is like 27,000 people. So try and keep that in mind. So with that in your minds, because that's what it says in my notes that you should do, what's going on in Gaza?
Bad.
I feel cold. Well, it's difficult to find out because a lot of journalists are being targeted and killed by the Israeli army.
Oh my God, so many.
Huh. Who isn't being fucking targeted by the Israeli army at this point?
Oh God, Jesus I heard the horrible stories someone recalled of 2 journalists. One of them got shot by IDF. Don't quote me on that, but he got shot. They're stuck in like a school, and they're like, okay, we need medical attention. So the Israeli army blocks the ambulances, whatever blessed few ambulances are still functioning.
Yeah.
And they're being targeted too.
Yeah. And they're like, just eventually they get there, the guy bled to death. So that's just okay.
Well, didn't like the son of the founder of Al Jazeera get killed? He's a journalist.
Yeah, his story is devastating. His entire family died.
Oh, Jesus, fuck.
He kept reporting after his whole family was killed.
Yeah, dude's made of no, he has feelings. But he's hardcore. Like he's incredible. He's incredible.
There's a fellow I follow that's in Palestine. He's a photographer on Instagram. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
We'll have a lot of sources in this one, so
absolutely devastating.
Yeah,
footage.
No, it's really, really bad.
Like, as far as who are they not targeting? They're even targeting their own hostages.
Yeah,
trying to come back to Israel.
Under
white flags of surrender.
Yeah, we'll get to.
It's almost as though they're just using this as an excuse to finally just kill. I don't know.
It's. Look, we'll get to it.
Yeah. On October 7th, 2023, armed groups in Palestine launched thousands of rockets at Israel and got personnel over the perimeter fence to kill and capture Israeli forces and civilians in retaliation for all the killing and capturing Israeli forces do all the time to them, because violence is a vicious circle.
Right.
Israel's government response to this attack and very obvious and clear hostage situation was to airstrike the living fuck out of Gaza, killing as many. Basically, it's killing a number far higher. Because at the time in my notes, because the number keeps going up in my notes, it says 24. At the time, it was 24,100 Palestinians.
Yeah.
Majority 250 killed a day. Majority of them being women and children, because that's how the population demographic has panned out. Because Israel just kills, basically, if you're a military age person over the course of all these many years, you had a better chance of just getting sniped for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, we forget it. Kind of got lost recently in a lot of the talking about this. That 80% of the country is under the age of 14.
Yeah, because everyone else is dead over a long period of many years.
It's like there's like no good metaphor for it. It's like pruning. I don't know what to think. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
So where has Israel targeted? Yeah, it's awful. Pretty much
where they haven't targeted.
It says, pretty much everything. Hospitals, schools, churches, mosques, government buildings required to maintain water, sewage, and the city's central archive destroying 150 years worth of historical significant documents. That includes like historical documents, but also birth certificates, diplomas, population counts.
Just to be clear, when we say targeting, not only are they targeting these in military strikes, but after all the bombing is done, they go in and demolish these places with explosives, like intentionally.
Yeah,
we have struck by accident.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we have a lot of. This was in my notes, but like we have so much documents of like, because the Israeli forces, because they are a incompetent colonial military force, just keep taking fucking social media posts about all their war crimes that they're doing. Like
they're posting it everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I've seen some wretched TikToks.
They've really lost that war.
And they can't figure out why. Their own troops are sharing TikToks about war crimes. Why don't people like us?
I'll tell you, let me interject real quick and just like give a plug to Bad Hasbara. It's this podcast with Matt Lieb, where he's basically talking about Israeli propaganda, and it's fucking hilarious.
It has to be, because the propaganda is
in parts.
Wretched. Yeah.
But they just talk about how bad this stuff is. And he talked about when he went on his birthright, and he like had this moment. I think it's a piece of his act where he talks about how like he walked into like a 7-Eleven, whatever they call it over there. And he walks up to the guy behind the counter. And he's like, hey, like, how do you like it here? How is it? And he's like, oh, I'm a Palestinian, but I can't live in Gaza because I'm gay. And he just didn't buy it. He's like, no. Like, this whole thing is just a manicured recruiting like thing to him. Like the way he was describing this, like they're just trying to keep people come over here and have babies, basically.
Yeah. Because so what else?
It's weird. Like, Zionism fucking weird, man.
It's
like,
weird. Yeah, no, it's
like real estate and shit. It's just, I don't like any of this.
That ties into what else they hit. They hit apartment buildings. Are hit indiscriminately, even though Israel gives a whopping 2 hours to pack up your entire fucking life and leave.
Yeah. Well, they shoot a targeting shell that hits your building to let you know the next ones are going to be exploding in about an hour.
Yeah, that one takes out your roof because it's still a shell.
Right. Yeah. Still force times mass.
As Americans, we're not going to really get this concept, but it's extremely common for families to live in like basically the same house for well over 100 years. It's the same in
that's a very American thing. The idea that you have to move out and have your own place. That's
changing.
We're going back to Gilded Age shit.
Yeah, so like their family has lived in the same place. If you have a house, for example, it's like it's been in your family forever. Like, and now you're just forcibly expected to just fucking leave. Like, I think I even heard one example of a family living there for like 200 years, like an absurd amount, and they were kicked out so they could make room for Israeli settlers. So basically, it's like these people are having their entire familial like lives, history erased.
Yeah.
What else? What does this say in the? Which horrible thing does this say in the margins? No, just confirming what I just said. Schools have been a big target. This one was really gross. Schools have been a big target with every university in Gaza being destroyed. That's it. Every university in Gaza has been destroyed. And the deliberate destruction of academic, scientific, and intellectual figures' homes via unmanned airstrikes, killing them and their families. Israel is purposely targeting university, schools, libraries, and, like I said, archives, all of cultural and historical relevance, to make returning to normal life and like just learning anything after the genocide like impossible. Absolutely impossible. The entire apparatus has been deconstructed. Like,
I just read today that they're flooding the tunnels.
Yeah, they're flooding the tunnels. The so-called they have found tunnels, but none of them are like that's full of Hamas. No, they're just filling tunnels with seawater. Because that's totally not a war crime, I guess. So 3,100 school students have been killed, 130 teachers, some of which we have video of just straight up executions. Like they're like men on the ground just actively going after like teachers.
See, this is so different from even like the more recent Persian Gulf War in Afghanistan shit that went on forever, because like we didn't really have anybody over there with cell phones.
No.
You get some footage here and there, but you didn't see what like Blackwater was doing. You didn't see
I'm sure it would have looked a lot like this, honestly.
Much different level of connectivity.
Well, yeah, and I mean this even puts me back further to the first like Gulf War, where Senior was doing the whole Kuwait 5-day invasion thing with the M1s and everything. Everybody was glued to the TV waiting for it, and then suddenly, like, you saw this fucking night vision green tracer fire just spooling up into the fucking sky, and these massive arcs, and then just the explosions. And it's like we're watching a war on television, ladies and gentlemen, live as it's happening.
But you're not seeing the bodies.
That was blowing my mind, and now here we are, and you have your choice. You can choose to just like watch TV and I guess be told kind of what to think, or you could just take a look at one video.
Yeah. You could.
I mean, you like, we owe it to the world to fucking witness this. This is horrifying.
You have no excuse now. I got all this information. Like, my main sources were like, okay, like into underground journalists from like Israel, and Al Jazeera Arabic is incredible. Like, yes, it is in Farsi. Fuck you. We have Google Translate. It's the one good thing they have. Like, because it's done in news style, you don't lose anything in translation. It's there and to the point. We live in 2024. You have no excuse now.
Yeah.
It's just you reignite your curiosity for the world and understand that these things are happening. Where we have a documented, like, this is happening right now. And just go read about it and see what is happening. Like the thing that blew my mind is all these fucking so when it first started, you had like these big pro-Israel parades of like fuckers who probably live in like a cookie cutter fucking suburb who never knows what's outside of it.
And I mean, they're probably the most racist out of all of us.
Racist, privileged, and now it's like escalating now, and more. It was escalating then, but like more and more and more to the point. They're still
because no one's stopping them.
No, that's the thing. That's the fucked up thing that got me. Is like I had like expert broke it down of like every genocide in history has it. We haven't prevented one yet, unfortunately, but everyone has been stopped by just overwhelming force, which sucks. But that's it. That's the only way. And so this is just going to keep happening unless someone does something.
And it's going to happen. I mean,
what's our status right now? Like, I mean, and I feel fucking sick about this, honestly, because it's just oh my god,
I got more notes. Don't worry.
Oh, cool, good.
Oh man, like
to the point of what you said just a second ago, as far as seeking out your own sources, seeking out other material. One of the best coverages that I've seen coming out of this, especially in the first 10 days, was Popular Front, Jake Hanrahan. Check out the podcast. There is an interview that he got with a guy on the ground there in his apartment.
It's a fucking scary interview, man.
Oh, is that the one where the shell lands?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
In the middle of this. And he just brushes it off, and he's like, "Yeah, well, this is our life now." And it's just, and you can find other sources, and you can find media and things that can inform your own narrative. You don't have to depend on what's just being thrown around. And again, in the first 10 days of this thing, one of the most amazing things to me was just the info war, seeing what was coming out of the state mouthpieces versus what was coming out of TikTok and people on the ground and other reporting, and
Gal Gadot.
It was. I was just going to say some of it was true, some of it was not quite that true. But just seeing the way it was flying around and the speed of it, and just that was really when they were trying to win the opinion war in like those first 10 days.
And, absolutely,
it was so crazy to
Israel
watch.
Has like the most
at it though. Like here's the thing: like they're known for software, for like in intelligence software and stuff. Like espionage software.
Yeah.
And also, they're the testing grounds for like a bunch of shit. But like, we should be clear, this is Netanyahu doing this, because like there are people who are resisting, like in the state of Israel. I just feel like, and this is me extrapolating a bit, because I can't really imagine, like imagine Netanyahu gets what he wants, and he just like either just gets rid of everyone and just levels the rest of the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, which wasn't initially even a part of this, because like Hamas wasn't there. But now they're just getting fucking shelled. And so imagine he gets this whole giant like postage stamp of land at the expense of hundreds of 100,000, 2 million displaced people, hundreds of thousands killed, diseased, maimed. Then what? does he think that like the entire surrounding area is going to be like, oh, cool? Or does he think that they're just going to get fucking painted? Because there is no ending for this. Like every action that he's been taking since this has started has just incensed more and more of the world.
Well, it's
South Africa sued them in The Hague.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. Because U.S. backing, so that's the other thing is like this couldn't happen without the United States.
That's why I feel fucking sick about this, because it's just like,
oh yeah, bud, your taxes are paying for
our
this.
tax dollars, baby.
Yeah, we're all fucking complicit in a genocide.
We're complicit in a Yep.
Our taxes.
That's dystopian, y'all.
Yeah, we get to see this in real time. So, So Israel's military says it has killed 9,000 Hamas militants. Has provided no proof of this whatsoever. It says in brackets, unless you count the videos of them planting guns on half-naked dead bodies who were trying to surrender. Yeah. And blames the amount of death and destruction on Hamas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love how the media, like mainstream media, keeps referring to this as a war. It's not a fucking war.
No. It's
where is the opposition? Where are the people fighting back?
Bill Hicks had that joke for the fucking first Persian Gulf War, where he was just like, a war is when two armies are fighting. Yeah. There is no Palestinian army. There's just Hamas, and they're not the army. They're not even necessarily Palestinian.
No, they're not even like popular. Like,
no, and that's been one of the most insidious things in this is the confusion of Palestinians and Hamas. It's just like the media has just almost coined this term Hamastinians.
That's what that's what they want. Like they want Hamas and Palestinian to be the same thing, and so Palestinians, just for the sin of being Palestinian, it means you are deserving of death. And like,
it's disgusting.
They want to equate the two things. And like Hamas was wasn't even elected in. It was like 20 more years ago, and at the time, Hamas only had like 60% of Palestine was against Hamas. Like they weren't even popular when they came.
No, they wanted
because much like here, when things get bad, right wing shitheads tend to go to the forefront. Like I don't support anything Hamas believes in, but I also think that you can't treat people the way you've been, because again, violence is a vicious fucking circle, and you can't do that to people and not expect that what happened in October was never going to happen. Because like all fascists, they need an enemy who's both terrifyingly strong but pathetically weak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Schrodinger's enemy.
Yeah, thank you, Umberto Eco. And like I can never pronounce her fucking name. What's going on in Armenia? It's the same thing where they hate Azerbaijan hates Armenians because that's a political policy that unites their country, I guess. So as I'm writing these notes, it says January 27th. It took me a while to write these because new shit kept happening. The Hague ordered Israel to prevent acts of genocide after losing in court. How seriously they will take this order remains to be seen. The order fell short of like fully declaring a ceasefire, which is desperately needed.
That's long over. Yeah, it's been over.
They're shooting tank shells at like
113 days.
Yeah, they're shooting shells at like UN hospital camps. Like the UN are not happy at all.
Yeah, they're fucking. No, whatever.
Like the ceasefire is needed. Netanyahu rejected the claim of genocide and said Israel would, quote, continue to defend itself.
Sorry.
Oh man,
it wasn't scripted. That was just totally.
It's brutal.
Oh man, that's a really loose fucking definition. That's the American definition of defending.
That's the fucking South Park definition of defending. They're coming right for us. It's that.
I mean, that's more appropriate because, like we said, like they're defending themselves with guns that United States is selling them. Because Biden is half-heartedly calling for a ceasefire, it doesn't mean capitalism ends, I guess. Yeah. From Al Jazeera, U.S. courts hear civil case accusing Biden of, quote, being complicit in the Gaza genocide.
I mean, shrug, gesture.
Yeah, the Center for Constitutional Rights, Civil Liberties Organization, on behalf of the Organization Defense of Children, a Palestinian human rights group based in the occupied West Bank, and 8 Palestinian U.S. citizens with relatives in Gaza Basically, they're saying rightly that Biden edged on what is currently happening. The case is arguing that it's providing weapons to Israel, and that the U.S. and by providing weapons to Israel, the U.S. is violating the 1948 Genocide Convention. This Genocide Convention, made after World War II, includes the U.S. and Israel to basically avow to not commit any fucking genocide and to stop people who do.
Like, if I had been, let's say, Thomas Harris, and instead of writing, Black Sunday, about the blimp that is going to blow up in the stadium full of some Nazis are involved or something like that, I had instead supplanted the plot with survivors of the Holocaust would go on to commit a genocide themselves. That book would never have gotten published.
No, it would have been seen as the most anti-Semitic rag ever created.
And don't get me wrong, there's some fucking anti-Semitic shit coming out of this too, like fucking whatever happened at fucking Harvard. That's just some racist bullshit all around.
And the treaty, the anti-genocide treaty, another interesting development in this story is one of the reasons why Houthi rebels have justified rocket attacks in the Red Sea, stopping trade everywhere.
Yeah, and again, it's like the Houthi rebels, like, I don't fucking believe what they're about. I think they're dipshits too. However, this is what's like solidarity, I guess, like the worst people you know. Like,
well, also, this is how this expands.
Yeah, it's going to look a lot like this, where a lot of people we don't fucking like are looking at this and being like, wow, that's awful.
Yeah.
I gotta keep going with my notes because I gotta get this out of me.
Sure, let's purge.
Yeah, absolutely.
But considering the U.S. can't at all ever be tried in The Hague, I don't think this will go anywhere, sadly. Maybe it will because it's a U.S. court, because fun enough, because the U.S. had a big part in forming the UN. There are literally lines in it, like literally legal bullshit, where like the U.S. just can't be tried in The Hague ever.
The U.S. is just like this like really rich bro that shows up. It's like, yo, dude, I'll set up this thing for you. I don't want to do anything with it. I just want you guys to have it.
Yeah, like the
UN, a hegemony just wouldn't work with us being accountable, bro.
I wish the UN could actually like do stuff, because like, okay, so I'm going to skip this part of my notes, but I'm going into like, I just wrote this like before recording. So as of today, right now, this moment from the last time I looked at the news, 27,000 killed, 66,000 wounded. The UN itself is getting hammered. Multiple countries have cut aid to the UNRWA. They were formed after Israel was formed, after a lot of people were displaced by the UN. Basically, it's a Palestinian kind of like aid group that helps people like get food, helps people with like refugee shit. Basically, it's like, hey, Israel just wrecked our shit. We need like a thing from the UN to help us. Basically, the UNRWA was accused by Israel of having agents working for Hamas during the October 7th attack. They gave information to the UN. The UNRWA did the only thing they really could do, because they were a volunteer organizations, fire those people. And then immediately day of, I'm not kidding, multiple countries cut funding to it, including the US.
Absolute bullshit. It's a reprisal because they were found guilty in the Hague court. So it said, well, you know what? This agency that's collecting all this aid for Gaza, they have some Hamas in them. Yep. And so that all you Western countries, you cut off all your aid to this.
And they did.
Punishing the UN.
The US was the biggest provider of funds to it, and they just cut it. And now that they literally said we can't function. We basically,
and everybody said, "Oh, the US is doing it." Well, we're not putting any aid in there either.
The worst kind of FOMO.
Yeah. So basically, they literally said we can't function now. As a group, we can't give aid. They just had like
because they're already so poor, they don't have any reserves to continue service.
Yeah, they're all donation based. Yeah. It's all like voluntary giving them money, and they're like, oh, we just don't exist.
An actual organization, an actual charitable organization that functions like a charity.
Huh. That's most
That's
of the
wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's not most of the UN, but like the UN does that kind of shit. Where like, okay, if you could handle your own funding, you could just do that.
The UN, like,
that's the end of my notes. I feel really cold.
Okay, I'm gonna just So I just one of my favorite conspiracy theories.
Oh no.
over the years has been the and of course Bill Clinton was responsible for it because he signed something into law, apparently, whatever, where the UN were now allowed to occupy American cities. And that was just a jaw grinding, like Bill Cooper thing, fucking Alex Jones thing, where they were just like, oh, we're gonna see the blue hats, and all this other shit. And I just wish they were the threat they thought they were.
No, I wish.
Because
wish.
I never had seen anything more than like one of them 6-wheeled like APC sort of things.
There is no UN presence here whatsoever.
They have an armed thing,
well,
but
no, we have the building.
Yeah, we have the building, but like they have armed division. But the thing is like they're not an army. They're not an army for a country. They can't invade. They aren't. They don't have that manpower to even do that.
New World Order, guys.
No.
They're like peacekeepers in a truer sense of the word.
They are.
Than like other peacekeepers,
but they're also
not just an invading army.
Yeah, I was going to say there can't be like weird world vigilantes like America tries to do, where they could just go in there and fight Israel, like try and defend Palestinians. Like they can't do that, like for legal reasons, and they won't. I don't think they're even capable, like physically.
Which major streaming service do you think would come up with like the action movie that could do it?
What was that movie called? Puppets?
Sure.
I don't know. There was a movie about puppets about basically U.S. world police, essentially.
Oh, right. Yeah, it was Team America World Police.
Puppets.
Speaking of South Park again. Why do we keep talking about Matt Stone and Trey Parker this episode?
They were. A lot of people have a lot to say about the Simpsons impression, but there were a few things in some of that early South Park that was just kind of like, oh,
yeah. I mean, they had some,
didn't it?
And the worst
thing, good stuff. But.
They did. The worst thing is
you don't have to watch all of them. I think I got about 8 seasons.
I still think they're fucking pretentious assholes.
Normally with this, I would have like places for you to donate. The stranglehold on resources going into Gaza, it wouldn't help if you gave money, unfortunately. And depending on what country you're in, it could be illegal. Not like we care about that, but the point is like there's really the thing that's gotten me the most is like I kind of can't do it. I can't do anything. I literally can't. I'm just watching this happen, and we're
complicit in a genocide.
We're not, whether we intended to or not, we are complicit in this.
I mean, and like we're complicit in so many, like as Americans, we are complicit in so many horrific things that happen across the planet. But this is just like
think about it every time I bite into a chiquita banana.
Going out of the way to fucking kill someone.
Oh, this is like
wipe a certain people out.
What'd you say, Zero?
I said I think about that every time I bite into a chiquita banana.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat bananas. So
I just think I think about Ursula K. Le Guin's like the ones who walk away from MLS, and I'm like, wow, we really like 10x that, didn't we? We don't just have a kid we torture in a basement. We have entire schools that get shot up.
And just the fucking irony of all this too. It's just like you would think that a Jewish nation would like understand that genocide is a fucking bad thing.
Well, many of them do.
That's true. That's very true. But it's just like how you would think that it would be culturally baked in, but like, what do I know? I'm white, so I don't have a fucking culture.
The history is come on. We have Chipotle.
God,
no, right? That's a white person thing.
Yeah. Don't you know? But like you had. The history is complicated, but what's happening right now is not.
Yeah.
What's happening right now is pretty fucking clear that like the wrong thing is happening and the wrong people are like in charge and are responsible for it and need to be held accountable for it. And it's just not happening.
And they just don't want to
shelling needs to stop because like what can this kind of shelling be but for clearing out for real estate? Like at the end of the day, when you boil all of this down,
months, man. I made a bad joke about it, but it's like it's a aggressive real estate grab.
It's and banality of evil.
Israeli parliament are already talking about it like it's a fait accompli. Again, these people the politicians in Israel make these comments in parliament that they don't think aren't going to be like spread across the world the next day about how like there's no room for Gazans to come back.
Yeah, it's really incredible considering this is the same leaders of a country that, like, as soon as the shit started happening in October, they mobilized the e-girls. Like,
for a fucking cursed pickleball court.
Yeah, for like to make a Starbucks, basically, we're going to decide an entire people. Yeah. It's
boycott SodaStream.
How many movies do we have about like people building shit on Indian burial grounds and like?
I mean, that's most
bad
of
shit happening.
I mean, Poltergeist revolutionized it. Yeah. But that's the thing. That's the thing about it. It's just this is like Arnhem, like the shelling of Arnhem. Levels of shit going on. I don't know. You know about that? Like, basically, I just remember that Hardcore History episode where they talked about how it was bombed to such a degree that like a detonation would launch a tree into the air that would be hit by a shell on the way down and detonate again. And to this day, like this field there it just looks like a bunch of hills and craters that had eventually had, been smoothed off by weather and grass had grown over it, but it's still deformed from the bombing. You know what I mean? Like they never leveled it. And it's like, what are you doing? And there's people here, just having lives, barely getting by, as it was for like the decades of shit that had been going on since then.
Well, the most accurate description I've heard is from a lady who's part of the people who are going to try and sue Biden here in America. Is my tax dollars have basically funded the murder of my 12 members of my family.
Yeah.
Gaza has been bombed to sand. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
I want retribution, basically.
Absolutely. So what's the status quo with because I did remember seeing a story come out recently saying that Biden was kind of switching sides and was like, now we need to fight the Israeli threat.
I don't know.
Was that
AI.
News?
That's AI, yeah, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, that's where we're at with all this stuff too.
But I mean, that's also that's like out of our playbook. Like that's straight out of our playbook. Let's arm the people that we're gonna,
and pivoted on it
eventually, right?
For the election. I mean, that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Because he knows, like.
Well, there's a huge backlash here in DC. We've had protest after protest.
Oh, I fucking bet.
Nonstop. And I mean, it's because it's a shit fucking thing happening.
Well, he's lost the entire he's lost the entire Muslim Arab vote completely. Fuck him. Don't vote for him.
Which circles back to my shit, which makes this whole thing like, well, no, I can't tell you anything about the election yet. This will be an ongoing series, by the way. I will give you updates over the course of the rest of this year until hell does freeze over.
Looking forward to it. Oh boy.
So who's up to? I'm still cold. Who's up to
Well, here's what I'm thinking. We got 2 more stories left. All right. If we probably have enough time for maybe one. And then somebody's gonna get cut off, and then we gotta do a whole second episode with that. What I'm thinking is
I think we could make it.
You think we can make them both?
Yeah.
Well, then zero's up, right?
Yeah.
All right, well let's jam.
All right, just gonna plow through.
Yeah, let's plow through. Let's make this. Because we got like 45, 50 minutes.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I was just kind of break down. I'm calling it the Cringer's Digest version of the Financial Times. It's the finance and wealth stories that have made me cringe the most, like over the last part of 23 and coming hot into 24.
Oh, thank God, that's my favorite.
And the first one that we've talked about a couple of times is just the whole vibe economy thing that like. On paper, our economy's it's gangbusters, GDP is great, but just like these poors just aren't getting the message that everything's hunky dory. And the bigger picture on that is just there's so many reasons why money's fake now that like all the old models just aren't really working for people. There's like a million stories there as to why, but some of the biggest ones are just over the last 50 years, productivity has gone up 62%. Wages have gone up like maybe 20, 23%. Give me my fucking money.
We've talked about this.
What does that mean?
Well, we've talked about this the last couple of meetings, this idea of this vibe economy. And just today, somebody sent me a meme. And it was the stock market works exactly like how Warhammer 40K orc vehicles are powered by the orcs believing that they work.
That's the thing about it. It's like we've tied all of so many Americans' retirement outcomes to this like magic casino that has like cattle sense. You know, like the weather report could say it's not going to rain, but if the cattle think it's going to rain, they're going to fucking act like it's going to rain. It's just ridiculous. Again, without trying to spin out of control on our society's choices for their financial systems, focusing in a little bit more, that's some more reasons. You know, the wage gap has been crazy for decades. Inflation has kicked everybody's asses. Inflation is tapering off now in that it's not going to get much worse, but it's not going to deflate. Prices are never going to go back down. This is one of the points in history where we can look at and say, you know, people, as you're growing up, your parents always say, oh, this used to cost $1 when I was a kid. This is a point where you can definitely point out in history and say, this is when prices changed for people.
Yeah. A fillet of fish is $5, and the patty doesn't even make it to the edge of the bun. For fuck's sake!
I knew you were going to bring McDonald's.
And there's somehow I knew that.
Fillet of fish
in it, such little amount of actual fish. But
$5.
I hear the dolphin levels in the sandwich have leveled off.
No, that's good. Don't say that on the podcast. I'm a dolphin. Don't like it.
Right. Sorry.
It's only at best clams and sawdust.
Yeah, I was going to say all our collars started beeping at that moment.
Right. Yeah,
But when it comes down to the inflation, the squeeze that everybody's feeling, it turns out one of the biggest reasons for that has just boiled down to corporate greed. Companies were able to raise prices, so they did. And they freely admit that on their sales holder calls. Again, how they don't think this kind of information is just going to get out there in the public in wider, bigger, and larger forums. I don't understand why they're saying the quiet part loud so much. Yeah.
I saw the word greedflation the other day, and I screamed.
Yeah. I can't even afford new boots. I've been wearing the same. My boots have holes in. I'm literally wearing hobo boots.
I'm telling you, what you got to do is you got to get the bag bread. You know, like you take the loaf out and you just get the bag itself, put it over your sock, and then you stick your foot in the boot, and it'll keep it dry at least.
I cannot afford anything. I can't afford anything other than fucking rent. Yeah,
and people on the right are pointing at the massive losses in shoplifting that have been experienced.
Right. That didn't happen.
Right.
Shoplifting gangs that have been
massive losses, huh?
Causing the companies to lose so much money. Turns out that wasn't true at all.
It's just
shoplifters of the world.
What has been true is that companies are basically just engaging in wage theft on their employees in a lot of different ways.
Really?
One of the biggest movers in that, wasn't that CVS? Because they're closing 3 locations in the district.
Dollar Store was a pretty bad one.
Dollar Store's bad. Yeah, I knew that already.
Through like misclassifying employees as part time when they're not eligible for other compensation, and
they don't pay fucking benefits,
taking money out of their paycheck. Without telling them.
Yeah, speaking from experience, they don't pay benefits. They will not schedule you for a full-time position if they can, if they...
Oh, they learned that shit from Walmart.
Yeah,
no, that's been around.
They will not pay you fucking dick, and you'll like it, I guess.
Oh, we've all worked jobs like that,
Yeah.
Trigger warning ahead of time.
But that's my entire experience.
Right, no, for sure.
Trigger warning ahead of time here, CoinOps. This next section is going to have a lot of acronyms, or not so much acronyms, just 3-letter organizations. But
should I mute myself? Like, what are we? Or do you want to hear me go gack? And
it's not actually acronyms; it's just three-letter concepts.
Okay.
The first one is RTO. You know, all these companies are pushing return to office RTO.
Yeah. I hate that.
Basically, doing RTOs to get LO'd, to get laid off. Google is one of the worst pushers for people come back to the office. Turns out they're laying off like 10% of their workforce.
Yeah.
How thoroughly?
We want you back at the office. You show up. Hey, you're fired. Get the fuck out.
What the fuck?
Dozens of companies who have made billions of dollars in profits are laying off thousands of workers just to
How
boost
do you think that they have made billions of dollars in profits?
Well, they stole it. Like, it's just wage theft.
Exactly.
I mean, this whole elastic show of things, it feels like they get RTOs so they get them back into the office so that they could say that they populated the building that they are paying, real estate fees on, whatever, rent,
the only two
property
things,
tax, whatever. But then they fire them because they don't need them for a few months. They just own the land.
Outside of porn, the only reason I use Reddit is for r/anti-work and r/recruiting hell, which have like millions of members. Because this is how everyone unifies to show how impossible it is to get a job now. And even when you do, how much you don't fucking matter.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think I told the story about working at that hotel, and then when it got bought out, they reset everybody's seniority.
It's worse now.
That was in the 90s.
Yeah, that's wild. Now it's like you just don't get hired, or if you do get hired, you just get when I worked at a hotel, you get fucking replaced.
If you get a job, they overwork the fuck out of you. If you do manage to get a job with benefits, they're gonna overwork you.
Dude, I had to turn down a full-time position. I had to turn down a full-time position at that because I couldn't do the night shift anymore because the night shift lady left, and they're like, "Do you want to do the night shift?" I'm like, "No, I just had a stroke. That's why I'm not doing night shift." Then they fired me.
Yeah, you're replaceable, dude.
Yeah, UTI, man.
Right to work.
Kind of leads into
isn't it?
Our next alphabet soup here. Both DEI and ESG are bad words now. DEI, of course.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and mute myself. Diversity,
equity, and inclusion efforts to get things looking less white in the boardroom. I mean, at the end of the day, and ESG's ESG is like investing portfolios and investing strategies in companies that fall under the auspices of environmental, social, and governance. So basically, it's stuff
because having a diverse workplace has been the source of so many problems, hasn't it?
Yeah, like Boeing. That's what they're saying about Boeing.
Fucking whatever.
And Harvard. That's what.
And Harvard.
Anyway, both of these things are being folded under what's now just going to be termed risk management. So it's easier for companies to not do them and say we're just responding to our shareholders.
So the first thing is token black person, and the second one,
ESG, is environmental, social, and governance investments and initiatives that are basically companies and things that need to be done but don't make money. But
gotcha,
like a service, like an actual service for society that you're not. It comes out of your profits.
Things that governments used to do for us, I guess. I'm trying to think back to when
museums, when Carnegie would open a museum or something like that, he'd actually pay for the construction and stuff. Unlike now, where the billionaires try to get the taxpayer to play for the new stadium and their fucking sports teams.
Yeah. I think the first one kind of pisses me off somehow more because it's like you don't actually care about racial diversity.
No, it's the new CRT.
Yeah. Well, the second one is like the financial world's response to, hey, we're not totally irresponsible. Here's a bunch of stuff we would like to do that benefits all of society. But then a bunch of people realize, hang on, that's not making any dividends and it's not helping shareholders. So we're not actually going to do any of that anymore. And it was mostly all voluntary to begin with. It's
like a list of good things we should do that we're not.
Well, it's also a way to kind of greenwash things, greenwashing people who want to invest in things that don't impact the environment. We say, oh, I have this ESG portfolio of stuff that's, a whole different load of stuff that may or may not actually be environmentally friendly. But the point is, it's like the financial world's conscience that they're not turning around and saying, nah.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of what it is, but.
Yeah, Google had they made a big deal out of their motto being like "Do no evil," and then they were like, they quietly lifted that. And they were like,
"It's fucking hilarious."
Yeah, they got the chisel and they took it off the store.
I think the thing that pisses me off of how mundane sounding they try and make, because they are mundane. They're just
that's pale. Their magic.
They're pale and wormy because they are, But it's pure evil. Like, it's boring, but it's like, these are the things that shape the world we're in. Like,
dime store Cenobites.
Wow, I hate that. Good one.
Speaking of which,
I actually appreciate the Cenobites.
Well, I just be like some like leathery old dude comes in. He's like, "Show me your ledger."
So you did you attend Davos? Because that was the next. part that I was going to talk about. The ghouls that control everything.
I've been to Comet Ping Pong.
All met at Davos recently to discuss like a ton of different shit, but one of them was like, okay, we'll start with this one. So a bunch of different billionaires signed onto a petition that was basically like, tax us more. They gave a presentation like, hey, we got a ton of money, tax us more to help some people who don't. Like, being pretty like honest about it. Simon Pegg was there. The actor who plays the really rich guy on
Brian Cox was there too.
Yeah. The Rockefeller heir was there. The Disney heir was there to just hit basically like what everyone else is saying is, please tax us. We have more money than we know what to do with. Well, I don't know if that makes much of a difference. They also talked about basically like it was kind of like the general sentiment was like, hey, AI is going to be great, but it's not there yet. So don't start the mass layoffs quite yet. God, Trump's probably not going to win. That's the subtext for them too. Trump's probably going to win, but it's probably not going to make a difference with anything. I mean, anybody could have kind of told you that.
Well, it depends on who you are, where you're sitting.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It's not going to affect like a big anybody who went to this fuckface.
They're talking about the other big subject was the X virus, like the next pandemic that's going to come along, and how to basically insulate yourself from the worst financial problems that it's going to generate.
Yourself, not
lessons from the last financial collapse due to pandemic, basically.
I mean, we could have solved it in like 2 weeks if we actually had a system in place and shit. But
Shadowlink, they're not talking about that. What they're talking about is the financial end of it, because
because that's all that matters.
Yeah, because everything took a shit when that happened. They want to know when the next death virus happens, which it will.
Yeah,
that's guaranteed. Whether it's in our lifetime or not, it's going to eventually happen. They just want to make sure their money's okay.
It's like all these rich people want things to get worse. So
well, that's the other thing about
so the people without money will be stuck spending all their resources.
That's the other thing about the Texas More like survey that did, or presentation that they gave. It was only like a survey group of basically 2,500 rich people that responded. That's not a ton.
Not a lot. Yeah.
So I'm not super hopeful about that. The other thing they discussed was the Oxfam poverty report. They do this every year at Davos because Oxfam tells them how much they're winning, sort of, by their standards. But I think that's what they get from the report. But Oxfam said basically that that the richest people in the world have more or less doubled their wealth since the pandemic.
Oh, great. Cool.
While 500 million of us have slipped into like basic poverty.
Yep, I have no money, so I'm one of them.
But not to fear. Within the next decade, we're going to have our first trillionaire. Which brings you to the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is I think we're about ready to pitch a show. And again, if Netflix, if you're listening, but I think we could go with who will be the first Trilly? Will it be Elon Musk? Okay, I'm not doing the Robin Leach voice anymore. Elon Musk.
That was good though. Hey,
that was good.
No. Jeff Bezos. Larry Ellison, he's a guy from Oracle. Larry Ellison, or Warren Buffett. One of these guys is on track to be our first trillionaire.
Do we have? I support the creation of this show only if it puts their addresses on the screen and their current GPS location.
Or if the reward is like
so the Running Man.
Some kind of an elimination show. Yeah, you're feeling me now.
Yeah. If the reward was like, I don't know, a very swift execution. That would be
paintballs. No actionable threats.
In Minecraft. Bleep that, whatever he just said.
I'm not going back and listening to this whole thing and bleeping it. Fuck. Keep it clean.
Hey, you know what? That's what I'm saying. This is in Minecraft. This is a hypothetical situation. It's a
game show.
Yeah, a very fun show that I would like to watch. That's a show that I would watch.
What's that one that had the slime? It's that.
Except
or it's like I'll do the next Fear Factor. I'll totally like Rogan the fuck out for it, and I'll just like, okay, you got to eat wasps.
God,
so your belly's full of them.
All right, so
that's kind of like that's kind of the big picture. If we want to drill down on some of these, players, People are worried about Elon Musk's drug use. I'm like, that's one of the least things I'm worried about with that.
Not enough, buddy. Keep it going.
But again,
didn't he just have a court determine that he can't get his $56 billion severance package from Tesla now?
Yes, he's not even like the richest person in the world anymore, or even like the second anymore.
It's an insane. That's an insane package, by the way. Like that's not an okay number.
Like
just,
what?
Like in case you didn't know, that's a lot of money for your bonus. That's
it's a lot of it has to do with the fact that his Cybertruck is it's so delicate.
Dude, when I found out they made their own recipe for stainless steel,
yes,
that will literally corrode when you breathe on it. I just how do you?
Of course, they made their own.
Yeah, that's what it was because they said because what I learned, I'm like, oh, it's made of stainless steel. I'm like, okay, so why is it because stainless steel?
Why is it rusting?
Yes, it stains. Obviously, it's still a metal, but I'm like, okay, why is it doing this so easily? Then I found out they made their own recipe. I forgot they called it something fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's like X03. It's like his kid's name.
Yeah, and I'm like, guys,
a shout out to There's Your Problems newest episode about the failure of the Hyperloop.
How long have we known how to make stainless steel?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just like anything that Elon Musk has his hands in. Let's reinvent this thing that already works perfectly in other circles. Let's reinvent everything.
You know what else they made was their own?
Because I'm a genius.
Their own personal
genius. Everybody says it.
Go ahead.
Fire department at the Tesla factory.
Oh yeah,
specializing in battery fires.
Yep.
They're the only car maker in our country that has a dedicated fire department.
That's insane. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, on one level, I'm like, yeah, no, that's good planning. On the other level, it's just like, yeah, man, maybe you should build that in a different building further out.
Yeah.
Not like in the Gigafactory, like
batteries, like if they catch fire, they do not go out.
Yeah. Anywho,
Zero. What else you got?
Yeah, they're worried about his drug use. Zuck got caught making a bunker, and like his very first explanation was actually it's a beef ranch. It's not at all a food supply for the bunker.
What is
that? Yes, an underground beef ranch. Fucking what?
Okay, that's what I thought you
Hawaii?
said. My brain rejected those words.
Yeah.
Here, wait, hold on a second. Let's think about this for a second. He wants to relate to us commons by having like a equivalent whatever nerd Kobe beef ranch where he feeds the cows beer that he brews on his property. Just like you or I do.
You guys ever see that episode of that show Better Off Ted, which is just about corporate tech? It's a corporate tech.
Such a good show.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Porsche's
that
episode
so with
good.
the lab grown meat, and they're testing it, and the taste tester they got cuts into it, takes a bite, and he's like, and then they ask how it tastes, and he's like, it tastes like despair. I get the sense that these cows raised on beer, or that. You okay over there, corn nuts?
Yeah, I'm dying.
All right. Yeah, we're all dying. But anyways,
well, I said their life is so miserable they have to feed him on beer.
Yeah, yeah.
I just talked about a genocide.
I feel that.
There's a lot of towns in Pennsylvania that works out really well for.
I just talked about a genocide, and in the same episode, I just found out some fucker is making
getting cows drunk.
Well, fuck.
He's getting cows drunk.
Well, check the time. Shadowlink, do you think you can fit yours in here?
Yeah, I think so. I've got less than 2 pages of notes. So.
Oh, okay, dig it. Yeah, we got about a half hour.
Last bit. I'll just say we'll catch up with our buddy Brian Johnson.
Oh yeah, I was wondering about it.
Brian Johnson and his everlasting age stopper.
He's not doing that no more.
Well, no, it is a life extension plan. There are different levels. I think it starts like $333 a month to learn Brian's secrets. But unfortunately, there will be no Blood Boys.
Shame.
I don't know. Maybe that's on a silver plan or something that they don't advertise. I mean, it's like, come on, you're a platinum member.
Can I echo a sentiment I heard elsewhere?
Yeah.
He looks like he's 43 years old.
Yes, there's no
whatever his age is, he looks exactly that age.
That's the thing about him. He's a 35-year-old who doesn't look a day over 32.
Yeah, like it turns out.
Wait, he's 35. I swear.
Yeah.
To God,
Wow.
Sorry, 45.
No, if he's
45,
35, he's only a year older than I am.
My mistake. 45.
God.
He's 45.
Okay. Oh, okay.
God, I look good.
I feel better about
You're right.
a lot of things.
Turns out cannibalizing your own son in a very convoluted manner does nothing.
Yeah, born 1978. He's 45.
Okay. All right.
Oh man. Oh, God.
I'm older than him.
So yeah, that's about it for now.
I think
those
you
are all
should have this
developing
gut.
stories as our society's inequality continues to spiral out of control. Next, please.
All right.
I feel
On
like
that note, go
I
ahead.
feel like I've been through like a BDSM like situation with no aftercare. Like my emotions are everywhere right now.
It's like BDSM ASMR.
Like I'm laughing but crying at the same time.
Oh,
like
man.
I'm cold, but I'm also hot.
This is the stuff of cosmic horror, guys.
Hit me with
No,
it.
I the same way.
All right.
I got my sweatshirt up on my shoulders, but like not on my
Oh, I'm
sleeves,
just-
but not off. Yeah, I'm feeling the same way. Hot and cold
I'm
flash.
just talking in real life, like just in general. This is the stuff of cosmic horror. Like
I
this
need orange
it's
slices.
it's about to get up into fucking Welcome to Night Vale in here.
Cool.
Do it. Let's do it. Let's
But-
do it.
I mean, but
Lay
not
it on me.
necessarily. Not from my bit. I just mean in general. But on that note, in the words of Anti-Flag, the economy is suffering. Let it die. So yeah, the past couple of years, we've, as Zero mentioned, we've seen a lot of layoffs just across the economy in general. But in particular, in 2022 and 2023, we've seen massive layoffs in retail and customer service, and more recently, the tech industry. The tech industry, pretty much since the pandemic started. Yeah, according to layoffs.fyi, which has been tracking this shit, last year, 1,189 tech companies laid off 262,595 people. This year, so far, we are only 1 month into 2024. 107 tech companies have laid off 29,475 people.
And just add a little context. I don't know if I mentioned this because I touched on it too, but all these companies made a profit.
Oh yeah.
All of these
yeah.
companies made a profit.
Right. It's almost as
Riot
though,
just laid off like a shit ton of people.
Yeah. And gee, why is this happening? Huh. Oh well, let's go through the numbers for a second though. So Google, they
Sucks.
as we mentioned, they laid off 1,000 employees. Twitch laid off 500 employees. Who was it recently? I think I saw PayPal just cut like about 1,000 jobs or something.
Salesforce
like
as well.
eBay.
Yeah, that one was weird.
Yeah, Unity just got rid of 25% of its staff, which is 1,800 employees.
Shit.
And this isn't like getting into like independent people, like independent video game developers and transport companies, because that's also another thing is like a lot of transport companies have like they got fucked over the past few years.
What are we talking about? Like jets and stuff?
I'm talking about like
trucking.
Trucking, like
shipping.
our
Okay.
shitty supply chain system in
Gotcha.
this country.
You mean the one that really doesn't plan for any disruptions at all, and there's no
Yeah.
Take
I
that.
don't
What's
really
that?
feel bad about like the trucking companies going under, but at the same time, it's like all that's left now is FedEx, Amazon,
I need
and DHL. That's all I can think of. And like the postal
though.
UPS is clinging on
Yeah.
there, but they are also in the middle of a bunch of labor negotiations and I think about to lay off some people.
Yeah.
Oh, my treats.
It's that
What does
season.
this mean? Why is everybody getting laid off? And according to an article from NBC.com and elsewhere, I believe, also, about 40% of jobs, the Sun, according to the Sun, the IMF chief says AI is to affect 40% of jobs globally. IMF, the International Money Fund. That's a lot of fucking jobs globally. 40%. And it's going to be because of AI. Because we are developing AI at a breakneck pace, and it's insane. It's stupid. Right now, and like, you're listening to this, and there's no way that touched you in what?
I don't think it's going. I think that's a very, for them, optimistic look, because AI does indeed suck, and no, they are absolutely do want to like replace like your office job with like a work.
I mean,
like,
we just had the guy from Ubisoft come out and say, "Get ready to not own the games you pay for."
Yep.
And then the Ubisoft stock tanked, like in moments, tanked. And I'm like, yeah, because like they're really leaning on shit, like to talk about video games for a second. They're trying to really lean into the streaming thing, and it's just not there because the fucking infrastructure isn't there. Like there's just no high speed relay where like there's some games where I'm absolutely playing with someone in Japan, and it's great. And it's like no lag. It's fucking awesome. And there's dudes I'll play in the middle of the country and it'll be like a 4-second lag.
Yeah.
And I just don't get it. But they're doing these open world, like these giant fucking free games with tons and tons of like cosmetics and like currencies and stuff like that. And once they get that rolling, they only need kind of a small team to maintain it and come up with new scenarios.
Yeah, live service games and whatnot.
I hate that shit.
Man. But like, what do they mean by like 40%? Like, what kind of jobs are we talking here? Because I'm like,
well, it just means all of them, like all jobs,
especially in the customer
jobs
service
around
sphere.
the world. Yeah, customer service and
actually, I've been to Dunkin' Donuts today. They make you use the panel, like the screen to order.
And think of
like go to any fucking department
every phone
store.
service,
yes.
Go to any department service, and now it's not. You don't even have lines of cashiers anymore. You have banks of self-service stations and one person watching.
Oh my god! I flew to Chicago like a little while ago for my buddy's wedding and shit, and fucking like both of the airports, like Dulles and O'Hare, had these pay your own stations. Yeah. There's somebody.
Although I will admit, I mean that's probably part of the reason why they beefed up those shoplifting numbers, because like shoplifting is becoming a real big problem.
Yeah,
and not even like intentional. It's just like sometimes people get frustrated with the fucking
it's funny.
auto pay thing, and then they just walk out the store with it.
My local supermarket had to start putting up signs of like to help spot shoplifters. That because I think it's gotten so bad because they don't have anyone like on registers. They just have the self checkout kiosks, which are awful when you want to use cash.
Yep.
Yeah. Ours are weighted. Like when you beep shit through, if you try to stick an extra object,
fucking annoying.
It's like you have unscanned object in the fucking bagging area, and I'm just like, yeah, well, fuck you. And then a guy has to come over and beep the thing, and then I realize, yeah, I did kind of drop a fucking candy bar.
I realized that a lot myself, buddy. Wink, wink.
Hey, my sugar was going. I needed to get a candy bar.
Clearly,
I love the ones with the cameras. So they they try and shame you into it, where it's like they have them in Walmart now, like everywhere, but like they try and look at you like you're being recorded.
Right I don't care. Still confidence.
What if that's the shit they're feeding to those fucking AI goddamn image generators? It's just like people's like self-checkout fucking video. This is my face when I have a 6-pack of a double IPA, like
Anyways, this has been
pretty smug.
This has been going on for a couple years now, and like it's suggests a trend of literally every industry kind of shifting towards, instead of like getting actual people to do the work, because they think that AI is already fantastic and it can solve everything.
Most low end
it's not even AI.
Pursuits will also fall victim to this. Most low end commercial creative pursuits. Like people who do art for
it's the new cyber.
People who do writing for commissions, copywriting,
editing.
Yeah, AI at this point is infecting fucking everything. And
Grammarly, you can go fuck yourself.
Most of the actual employable art jobs are probably going to see a big effect.
My biggest concern with when it comes to like shit like Grammarly is the idea of like, okay, so everyone's just going to sound the same.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's kind of the point, isn't it? They want to homogenize human beings as much as possible. We're not homogenous enough. We all have needs and shit, instead of like just being a program that you can, just set up somewhere, or like a little robot, little fucking robot on wheels that's supposed to provide security for you somehow.
Your boss hates that you have to eat and shit.
Yeah. Like your boss hates that you're human, basically. And now that we have the glimmer of the opportunity to go towards an automated workforce, and it's like I get it. There are jobs that I do think should be eliminated because they're dangerous and they fucking suck. And
I worked on an assembly line briefly. I know.
No,
some of these things, are just really bad for people's bodies, And so maybe it would be better to have a robot in there. This fucking ain't it. This ain't it.
I remember in the 80s, especially toward like middle and end of the 80s, you started seeing the robotic assembly lines.
Yeah.
And, oh man, look at that Japanese, look at that Toyota assembly line. It's got fucking robots and shit. And it should be all that.
Yeah.
We should be at that point where it's just,
But it's like
sticking the
these
parts.
developers are just really intent on eliminating the jobs that people actually want to have, like graphic design or photography or fucking making music or some shit like that. Yeah. So anyways, we've got ChatGPT, we've got Midjourney, we've got fucking that stupid ass porn clone one that Riley Reid, the rapist, made. We've got fucking Grok. I mean, it's just
they all suck,
and they all suck. They're all
bad.
They don't do what they what the people who are paying for them to be made think they do.
Yeah,
and the people who think.
Well, they're calling it AI. It's not AI.
Yeah, it's not at all.
Not. It's just a language model.
A slightly more advanced chatbot.
You know what? These things got further than Tay.
DT.
What'd you say, Zero?
It's DT. It's decision tree.
Yeah, basically. But it's the people who are paying for these developments. It's like it's a fucking shiny toy. And they're staring at it for so long that all they can see is their own fucking reflections.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? If it was just a toy, I honestly probably wouldn't really have too much of a problem with it. Because it is a dumb, stupid thing that you could fuck around with. As long as you're not claiming it to, as your own, and it gives, again,
or if you're not, crowdsourcing millions of people's input, and that's many of those millions of people, are either trolls or Nazis, and trying to put that shit in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and then you're going to use that data in the future.
It's garbage in, garbage. Yep. It's uncurated too.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're just kind of scraping on a massive scale without permissions.
Because they fired all the people who were supposed to oversee that shit.
So,
oh man.
Yeah. Anyways. Currently, we've got a race to find the first viable form factor, which is, another way of saying a humanoid robot. We've got, I read something else. Microsoft picked someone up today for that.
I'm sure that person is totally normal and not weird at all.
Yeah. OpenAI has someone contracted with them. There's Apptronic and Figure. Agility has Amazon sponsorship.
I hate
Tesla's trying to make one. Yeah, no, they all fucking suck.
I hate these fucking names.
Wait.
And then obviously there's still, Boston Dynamics, who did a lot of the legwork for this terrifying shit.
I remember rooting for them.
It was just a Charlie Brown adult mumbling. I couldn't.
It's I'm trying to imagine me before, I remember seeing Runaway with Tom Selleck. Because it wasn't even the Black Mirror episode that made me go, maybe these things aren't a good idea. It was literally me having flashbacks to Gene Simmons as the villain and these things with syringes full of acid burning Tom Selleck's cheek on an elevator.
Don't worry, we may do that movie at some point. It's a great movie.
Yeah. There's a clear malicious intent to replace all jobs, whether they be menial office shit, creative or physical or customer service related, no matter what. It's just, we are trying to replace that with AI alternatives, and that's leaving the rest of us out in the cold. And we're seeing that happen in real time. That's what these layoffs are about, is what I didn't get to listen to that episode yet, but there is a Behind the Bastards episode that you posted in the Discord about this fucking cult of AI.
AI.
So weird, man. It's like,
and like he's connecting the dots. Like it's all there. Like nothing he's saying is like news if you're paying attention to what's going on. It's just like, oh my god, the way he's connecting the dots. It's like it's a cult. It's a fucking cult.
Yeah, it's like turns out all
absolutely.
Yeah, it turns out all these really these people who just want to replace everything with like machines for like, you know, weird.
Well, their ultimate goal, this whole idea of is like, yeah, humanity could fucking die, but like as long as we send this like intelligence, this artificial intelligence off into the stars to perpetuate our existence, it's like,
yes, let's poison other planets with our offspring.
We've had fascistic techno cults before in the 20s. Elon Musk's grandfather was in one of these fucking fascistic.
I mean, we got Tesla now,
technocrat engineer,
or you know, whatever, like the Muskies now. Like this whole he can do no wrong. It's like, yo, man, motherfucker only built like 100% successful flamethrower that I know of.
I don't know that it's 100% successful.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know that it's not because I haven't heard much about it like blowing up in Joe Rogan's hands or anything. Like it's just,
I'm sure they scrubbed that with his billions of dollars.
So we're kind of like left out in the fucking cold right now. Just Red, like you and me, just normal people, because we are also the beta testers for all these AI that's coming out too. Like we're like I said, you know, we're the crowdsource. We're putting input. We are putting the garbage into these AI, these language models, heads, brains, I guess. But
pool.
Yeah. I think the only optimistic thing from this I could take is that there's going to be more demand for organic everything.
Well, like it's easier to like just say, we don't use AI. Hey,
everything's just going to start sucking.
Yeah. I think it'd be funny if I entered the Low Life podcast into Midjourney and to use that for the fucking episode art.
Because someone's just going to. I don't want these fuckers to know we exist.
No.
Yeah, and also there's like.
What if we infected
There were two articles that I read. So Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, admitted that ChatGPT cannot function without copyrighted material.
Yeah, I saw that.
Midjourney's artist database was recently leaked, and it's full of look at that copyrighted material. It's funny how these fuckers are like fuckers like this. Like, if they ever actually owned anything creative, you know that they would, and it would not have been made by them, but they would they would fight to the death to keep the rights for that. But if it's someone else's shit, they can fucking steal it as much as they want.
What if this is just like another example of like the Musk thing? Like, you have all the money in the world, but you just want people to like you. That just isn't.
I mean, like, I have no.
I can do art too. I'll make a machine that does art for me. Like, well,
what do you think that incels are? What do you think incels are? Like,
it's not AI. It's not AI then. I don't know. Yeah. It's not AI then. All it does is just scrubbing other people's art and reconfiguring it into like something that looks.
It's not intelligence.
It never had to stretch $5 on 2 days of meals.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know? That is the surest indicator of intelligence.
I'm not saying like all art comes from fucking suffering necessarily. I mean, you can't be like in the midst of necessarily suffering.
It's actually harder.
The magnum opus, but like you get a little bit of breathing room, you can kind of call back those days. Yeah. And an AI just isn't. It's just going to have examples that other people talked about.
The way they just come out and like admit it, though, it's like if I went to a judge and I said I can't have my bootleg Frozen T-shirt business without using copyrighted material from Disney, they would throw me out on my ass.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
This is going to be a frustrating, fucking terrible, stupid, fucking just dumb year.
Yeah.
Sorry. You're not done. I was just trying to skip us so far.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's just like. This whole industry, like the tech industry at this point, it's like everything is founded on a fucking scam at this point. Yeah. Like, you know, they make the claims, we've got AI. No, we don't. It's not fucking AI. Oh, we have self-driving cars. No, we don't. They don't drive themselves yet, you motherfuckers.
We were saying this
the blockchain. The blockchain is secure.
We were saying this the other day in the chat. It's just a bunch of mechanical Turks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's it's like the modern tech, bro. Their only like function is to get between the product or service and the user.
Yeah.
It's just like to invent a new wedge between these things. And then when they get you trapped there, then they're like, no, I'm going to advertise that to you.
And to harvest free money because of this economy of it. And to harvest free money. To get groups of people with more money than sense to throw money at them. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Didn't that dipshit put a fucking Neuralink chip in somebody today or yesterday or something?
Yes, yeah, he did.
I don't.
Waiting on bated breath for that
sad about that. But anyways, and apparently he's fine. We'll see about that.
When he starts getting the nonstop Rick rolls.
Somebody tweeted today, like
glitches out in real life. Anyways,
he'll be fine for $8 a month, right?
$8 a month, like that Hard Times article.
Oh yeah,
it was Hard Times, right?
So the latest story that I heard about this was that Google, fuck Google. They are pivoting also towards AI because, of course, they are. They laid off 1,000 employees, and a lot of them were supposed to curate the results list on the thing that made Google a thing in the first place.
Oh, don't worry though. So Zuck is also pivoting there.
With what is it? Llama 3.0 or some shit.
He had to apologize to the Senate or something today, or the House committee on
for
trafficked on Facebook or whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
Again, tisk.
He had to turn around and face them because Josh Hawley was yelling at him. And it was one of those really weird moments for me where I was like, I don't know how to feel about any of this.
So there's, it's the Ouroboros is basically eating it's starting to choke on its own tail at this point. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's going to fall apart but I mean, we'll see what happens. It's probably going to lead to the collapse of the fucking economy. But
again, first time.
I mean, it's something where like for the deepfake thing,
it's because all these tech companies are jumping onto this AI shit, and
and it's nothing,
and they're going to rely on it for things that they had people actually doing jobs.
Well, they expect it to do,
and they're firing all of them.
They expect it to do what they were sold it as, oh man, this thing's gonna be able to fucking bang out the best goddamn script in the world.
And coding,
and then you get what?
Like I said, a fucking scam. It's all a scam at this point. It's oh man,
we just gotta wait it out.
And they're just gonna keep scamming until we get actual AI. If that ever happens, but I don't think that'll happen because they're all fucking scam artists.
Just put a pause on becoming a big fan of anything for the next 3 to 5 years.
It's going to be a general AI that's just going to instantly steal all of your passwords and your bank account routing numbers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then clone your voice and make a deep fake of you.
Yeah, it's going to sign you up for life insurance. It's going to sign you up for a bunch of products from Amazon.
None of us will have.
And then someone's going to have to pull the big internet.
Telling them to stop sending it.
Somebody will pull the big internet plug, and then we'll all go back to having to know each other's last names.
Okay. Well, there is a silver lining in all this. Somebody finally came out with a program that poisons fucking AI art generators.
Nice.
It's called Nightshade, and it's already got over 250,000 downloads.
That's a cool name.
Fucking goodness. Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Wow.
Yeah, so
okay, so we're leaving on a hopeful note.
Yeah, well, there's that, and also,
also remember, AI is not ready yet.
Yes, but AI porn has kind of taken a turn lately as well, and a lot of popular AI porn generated porn has been of. Scarlett Johansson and Taylor Swift, two of our most conventionally attractive women in American society.
I guess.
I mean, at least they sway.
Well, to some people, they're conventionally attractive. Let me put it that way.
Conventionally to whom?
I mean, boring people, I guess.
I don't know. I gotta think.
Let's just say they're very, very popular.
Yes, they're popular, and why would you ever do this? Like, I never understood the fucking photoshopping some celebrity's head onto like a porn frame. Like, why? How do you do that? Like,
I don't know.
What's the fucking point?
All I know is I have a pretzel fetish now. It's just, I didn't know. It didn't know what a body looked like. And then I was just like, huh. I think that might work.
I'm interested in seeing what kind of fetishes are going to come out of AI porn. But
you know, I got to say I'm not, because if I've seen what AI porn looks like and
seen Cronenberg movies, I've been just
yeah, man, it's good for body horror fetish. I'll tell you that. Like, it's good for body horror fetish.
So Taylor Swift, and Taylor Swift also is like a very.
I need 15 fingers per hand now.
She's enigmatic to me for whatever reason. Like,
I think she's by design.
Yes, yeah. I think that she is like the closest thing to like a real life anti-hero, because she always seems
she wrote a song called that.
Kind of in. I mean, I don't know, but like, I don't know. She always seems to be working more for her benefit than anything else. She has a fucking army of fans at her disposal, and she's pissed off that people are making porn of her. Yeah. Understandably, I would be pissed off too. And like, now Congress is finally fucking taking this.
They're taking it seriously.
Yeah, they're finally fucking taking
Tay versus AI.
So hopefully, yeah, hopefully this will end.
And good for her, because that's like it's a gross thing to do to somebody, because it's without your consent.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. And like, if this, like, you could do this to a person who's not a celebrity, which is also fucked up. Like, that's even more fucked up in my opinion.
You should do it to yourself.
Yeah,
AI yourself on a body with some big tits. See what that awakens in you. And, we got to wrap this up.
We do.
Yeah, so that's the silver lining. Hopefully this shit will fucking fall apart.
That's the silver lining. What? Anyway, we have a website.
We have a website soon.
We
soon,
will.
Kind of.
Right, for now, we have a patreon.com/neondystopia. We have,
yes.
We're on Instagram.
Thank you again,
yes.
Thank you, patrons. Woohoo!
You have a Discord. Join us. Hang out with us. Everyone's awesome.
Please.
Yes, it's fun.
Link in the description.
We're on Facebook. I'm on Blue Sky at CoinOps. It's easy to find. I'm the only one there. I don't post much.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I post nothing but updates. Social media sucks. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.